Hello, everyone. Welcome to Knightspeed, Season 3, Episode 8, The Disappointment in Gainesville. I guess that's what they really call it. Disappointment number 2, I guess. This one, I don't know. Which one's more disappointing? This one or the Colorado game?
You know, someone asked me that earlier today, and I said they're equally disappointing, you know.
Yeah,
And I guess the Colorado was more disappointing, and just because I expected what happened to happen in Gainesville.
yeah,
You know, I was one who knew that it was going to be a lot tougher than what people thought. Like, a lot of these other people that I see sit there and talk, oh, we should go in there. And it's like, that is not an easy place to play.
no, it is not. But Florida. Let's face it, they're not a really good team. Because we goose egged them. I mean, as bad as we played in the first half, Mark, Florida. I don't know if they had 100. If they did, they had 110 yards the entire second half.
Yeah, we did a lot better second half than the first half. I mean, defensive wise, you know.
Yeah, but we have such a offensive struggle with the pass, that no one respects. It seems now since we've played TCU, no one respects our passing game the last 2 weeks. We
Now,
can't catch up, especially if we're down by double digits. If we're down by double digits, forget it.
right. I mean, it's I think what Colorado did is give everybody else, and that's why I'm saying 3-9, is because everybody else has the blueprint of how to beat UCF this year.
Yeah,
This season, you put your best defender on Kobe,
yeah, 9 in the box.
and then basically put, well, actually not put 9 in the box. What they're doing, Colorado was putting 9 in the box. I think when I was watching the Florida UCF game, Florida was doing was putting 6 in the box, and they got good defensive linemen.
They
And
do. Yeah,
they put 6 in the box and then have the safety cheat. As soon
yeah,
as safety saw that it was a running team, then you had 7 in the box, just like that. And
yeah,
I think Florida knew all we got to do is stop Kobe, and the other two guys are number takers,
yeah.
and that's what it turned out to be. You know,
Well, you got the guy who's, I guess, stepped up to be our number 2 now. Mark virtually got cut from Florida.
I wouldn't think I wouldn't. I'm not going to call Whittemore our number 2. Our number 2 is Pittman.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying receiver. Yeah, he's the
But
second number in numbers. In numbers, yeah, I give him that in receptions. But you have to have a 2 receiver. Your tight end can't be your 2 receiver.
well, our tight end is because
Yeah.
the one thing you saw too was we tried to run that tight end kind of screen,
Hmm.
and Florida was too quick on the outside for us.
Oh yeah.
Those plays went nowhere, and it was just that's why I knew it was going to be a long night. As soon as we started trying to get those Pittman plays running, and he wouldn't get he if he got back to the line of scrimmage, that was it. And it's like
Hmm.
it's going to be a long
Well,
night.
you think about it. I mean, KJ Jefferson was 12 of 22, 165 yards, one interception. Now the interception was late in the game, which really was it was a bad interception. But
Yeah,
let's just say, Mark, he completes it. The 2 defenders from Florida hit each other and fall down, and Kobe runs into the end zone. We're still 4 down, even with a successful extra point. We're still 4
right.
down.
Yeah,
So you need a touchdown with less than 3 minutes, and we've got to kick off to them. So we've got to get an onside kick, and then again, let's say we get it, we still got more than half the field, and we have to get a touchdown. Field goal won't do it. So it's just,
no. I mean,
I mean,
obviously you're going for 2 points if you gotten that touchdown. You're going for
yeah,
two.
true.
And
You
then
have
if you
to.
get the 2, then okay, it's something interesting. Otherwise, it's over. And we scored 13 points. I mean, we're not good on offense at
No,
all. And I'm not gonna sit there and blame everybody's throwing KJ under the bus here. And it's like, you know, KJ, I don't think he's comfortable with any receiver other than Kobe.
yeah.
Everybody else he likes Pittman. I think he's fine with Pittman as well. But to him, it's like nobody else is worth throwing to here.
Well, if you look at the one where he got sacked on, that was the one where we started first down on their 40, our 46.
Right.
They had to put it back to us, which was bizarre to me. Did we even have a return all night on punts,
I can't
or were they
recall.
just all fair?
You
Were they
know,
all fair catches?
yeah. I can't recall. I don't, I don't. Nothing happened spectacular on, you know, um, special teams other than we had a different kicker. And if you want to
Yeah,
do that real quick and bounce back into the offensive
yeah.
output, but uh, who was the kicker that
Boomer left.
and he's transferring.
Yeah. Well,
He's
I guess he
gone.
was hurt that night.
Right. Well,
But Greg Reddick actually came in and got 2 field goals. So he did have a 37-yarder. I mean, I'll give him that.
yeah, Reddick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's the starter now because
Yeah.
Boomer's gone, and I don't know what to believe. You've got so many things that Boomer, I guess, had an agenda. Was expecting to be the starter because he has, you know, uh, you know, YouTube channels and things like that, and you know, I think he thought he was healthy enough to go. Although the Colorado game, I saw the guy limping off the field.
Yeah.
So what is it, Boom?
Yeah.
And I wish him well. I wish him well. Right?
Yeah. And good luck to him. You're right. Because you don't want to be here just like uh, the running back we got from Cincinnati.
No, it's not the running back. You're talking about the safety threats.
Threats. Is that who left?
Yeah, he's the one who's left. And
Yeah, my opinion. You don't want to be back. You don't want to be here.
no,
See you later. Get out.
Miles Montgomery's injured. I hope he's
Oh,
coming back soon because he's a nice compliment to
yeah.
RJ. But RJ again, I mean, you can sit there and say, oh, he didn't really get stopped. I mean, didn't have RJ type numbers, but he still had 80 yards?
Yeah, he's 75, but he only carried the ball 16 times.
Yeah, not bad. Not
Really,
bad at all.
that's half of his workload. His touchdown run was impressive.
Yeah.
What,
And
12, 13 yard? And like I said, it was very impressive. But again,
it's just we have a passing problem.
yeah, how many tackles on his carries were behind the line of scrimmage? Or you go to the line and there was nothing there. So he tried to bounce it out and then we get, 1 yard loss.
Well,
So you think about it. He did have some good positive yards. Penny Boone had 42 yards on 8 carries.
right. I mean, it was just the one thing that Gus was doing is like we're down by what? Were we down by 14 and he's running the ball?
We were down 24-3, Mark, at
okay, so we're down to 21 points and he
we're
said
down 3 scores,
he
3 full
chewed up the
scores.
whole third quarter on running the ball.
Yeah,
And
and
we
we
got
got a
3
field
points
goal.
out of it.
And we got a field goal. And it was like, what are you doing?
It's like, God,
And I
man.
think that's because we can't throw the ball. He knows we can't throw the ball. You look at our receivers, and it's really, I mean, you look at Whittemore, I guess you got Hudson, and then anything after that, the routes they run, Mark, are just sloppy routes. They don't really make crisp, fine cuts. It's just like, wow, you had 2 guys go down. And again, this was that one drive I was talking about when we start off 1st and 10 on our 46, then it goes 1st and 15, then 2nd and 21, then 3rd and 33. But on that second down route, we have 2 guys go down 16 yards, and they both kind of do a slant in, and they're like bookends from each other. It's like, really, that's what you got.
It's bad. And,
And by the time they
I
got,
think a lot of people were. I think there was one thing they said that there was one Kobe played where he was by himself and, KJ never even picked him up. Like he was so kind of wound up about who am I throwing to here. And I guess the problem with KJ, he holds on the ball too long. He doesn't really have as good a feet as we'd hoped. Like he can't really scramble at anything. He kind of, he's got a few issues.
yeah,
And I just don't think he's comfortable. I
no,
don't think he's comfortable with the junior receivers we have, and I just don't think we're kind of getting space for these guys. I mean, I'm thinking, hell, you ought to sit there and just figure out who you got on the sideline and just start running guys deep just to kind of spread that defense out a little bit. And if they decide not to cover them, then you can pop it deep.
Well, I mean, one interesting stat that I didn't talk about last week. You know where we are in red zone offense?
No,
Our ranking in the country.
no. Dead
111.
last.
We're 111th. So we're past the 110th team in the red zone. And I guess the thing is, everybody knows you can't throw.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I saw that one was first and goal at the 5, and the next thing it was fourth and goal at the 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, that's when you're looking for something to throw at the TV because it was just, it's
Well, that was
just
the
tough to
difference in the
watch.
game. Florida's uh, red zone offense is in the top 30, maybe top 20 when I was looking, because it's been a while since I had my notes in front of me. And
Mm.
again, if you look at it, Mark, whenever they got inside the 20, they either got a touchdown or a field goal. And again, they did it 4 times, scored on every one of them.
Okay. Yeah. To me, it's like, what do you have behind KJ? I mean, that's why I say people are like, oh, we got to pull him. They got to pull him. But it's like, who you can't throw that kid from Miami in. I don't think he's any better.
No,
And then, are you going to go with just Dylan Risk or Trujillo or even EJ Colson?
yeah,
I mean, at this point, we're 3-2. I
mm-hmm.
got a feeling, like I said a couple weeks ago, we're going to be 3-4 before you know it.
Well, I think with this team that we're playing this Saturday, Mark, we've got at least equal talent to them.
Well, there's way people play, and there's we're on a downward trend. They're on an upward trend. I mean, if we'd played them 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we might have been able to kind of you know smoke and mirrored our way through it. Right
Yeah,
now, everybody knows what we got to do. What they need to do to beat us, and we can't. We're not combating that. We're
no.
not finding anybody to catch the ball. We're not making it any easier on KJ to get a passing game going.
Well, the routes are rough too, because like there's really no imagination, no creativity to these routes. There's no hot route, underneath. There's no pick plays. They're all
Right.
kind of just very vanilla, and it's like, or again, we're throwing the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, hoping somebody breaks a tackle. Like Johnny Richardson, and he goes for 10, 12. Which in that one, our first drive off of the half is kind of what he did. Well, that
Right.
didn't work this time
Yeah, I
because
mean,
again,
you
Florida
said it
squad.
best before the podcast that we have a high school offense,
Yeah,
and like Johnny looked good in spurts. I've never seen that handoff on the jet sweep, but Johnny made it work a couple times.
mhm.
And you got the stats. I don't know what you got in stats, but our problem is we're not spreading anybody. We're not making anybody do anything other than base offense or defense on us, and we can't break out of it.
No,
You know,
and
because everything's so one dimensional.
I mean Johnny Richardson had you know 2 3 yard runs and one 4 yard run for a 3.3 yard average. So he touched the ball 3 times, and
He had a
then
10-yard run one time, or that get caught back on a penalty. I don't know.
probably called back because he did have 5 receptions, so he did have
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And really, he was the big receiver on the night.
Really?
Yeah, because Pittman had 3, he had 5, RJ had 1, Whittemore had 2, and then Kobe Hudson had 1 for 14 yards. That's it.
That's a oh man, that is just horrible. Off or we don't have a passing game.
Hmm.
We have
Now,
no passing game.
you look at Whittemore.
You're not winning any games in Power Four without a passing game.
No. And you look at Whittemore and you look at Hudson. Again, those are 2 starting receivers, and there's 3 balls thrown to him all night for a total of 48 yards.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
So,
This is just this is tough to stomach. It was I don't know, like what was the one play that you were telling me there at the end of the game? I turned it off, but at that point I'd had enough. Um, it was going backwards on offense, like I
yeah.
said, and like I said, after the the first and goal in the 5, and they got to, I kind of left it on, but I was, I think I turned the audio down and just kind of looked at it once in a while, going, "Yep, this is bad." Um, the bright part, if there is one, was that the defense was able to at least keep them out of the end zone in the second half. We kind of bent but didn't break type defense in the second half.
Our defense still didn't record a sack this week. No sacks.
Close. I think we had a few bad angles, things like that.
Yeah. We had one.
Close.
I don't know if you remember in the third quarter, maybe it was early fourth quarter, and I think Malachi Lawrence did get a sack, but they took it off the board for a holding penalty. So instead of 2nd and 14 or 2nd and 15, they made it 1st and 20, and they still converted on that series.
Yeah, man.
It was like,
Yeah, it was a tough one. I guess 20 minutes into this, I don't want to beat a dead horse. It's anything you want to say about defense other than what I said. The defense was really bad first half. I mean, gave up 7 points. We answered with 3, and I knew that was going to be a problem when we got only 3. Because we were inside the red zone there, and I think we're inside the 10, weren't we there at the end?
Mm-hmm.
And then stalled.
Yeah.
And there are problems, and the defense didn't look great at first, but it appears they got a few things where they were able to kind of, keep the Gators out of the end zone in the second half.
Well, they did. They blanked them in the second half.
It's just our offense is so abysmal.
They were down 24-3 in the first half. We could only muster, and again, we didn't do much better. We won the second half, but not much better.
No, well, the thing is this is I don't know when I've seen this bad of an offense. Maybe the winless 15 season.
Yeah.
When you had a true freshman out there who didn't belong out there, quarterbacking.
In 2015.
Yeah, this offense is just unimaginative, really slow and just really clumsy.
Well, it's very predictable too.
Yeah.
If you notice that, it's either we're going to try to go Harvey to the middle, or we're going to do a jet sweep, to
yeah,
Johnny and Richardson, and that's because they're not throwing the ball.
Well, I think you have a lot of people who think that the the offensive line isn't very good, and I'm like, well, it's hard, assignment wise when you got 6 guys in the box. And then you got a 7th possibly coming in there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And, single coverage everywhere else. And Matt, they're not even worried about the single coverage,
Yeah.
of these guys. You got your best cover guy on Kobe. That's it.
Yeah.
Then you got to sit there and worry about, if Pittman gets out. But other than that, Pittman's not in. Like they have the blocking tight end in there or something like that. Is it,
We virtually have no
Go
passing.
at it.
Yeah, there's no passing game whatsoever on that.
Right. But I guess we'll see. You want to switch over to Cincinnati?
Let's go into Cincinnati,
Okay. We thought Cincinnati was going to have a down year, and well, they have kind of been able to string it together here recently.
Yeah, righted the ship.
Uh-huh. And
lost to Texas Tech. 44-41.
So they're scoring, right?
Yeah,
they're scoring plenty.
Yeah. They shut out Houston.
They come in our place, Matt, put 41 on the board. We're not beating them.
They're blowing us out.
Yeah.
So
they beat Houston or lose to Houston.
I still think we can beat Houston.
Well, we're not playing Houston this year. Did they beat Houston?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I still think we beat Cincinnati. Yeah, they beat Houston 34-0.
Ooh, that's not good.
But it was in Cincinnati.
Yeah, but still. Ugh. Okay. Miami, Ohio, I think they won that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lost to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Beat Towson State. So they got 1, 2, 3. They got 3 wins, 2 losses, just like us.
Yeah.
It's a 3:30 kick this weekend. I'm sure at this point they're putting on FS2.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be an empty stadium. with
No one's
how
gonna.
we played. We've got a whatever hurricane coming through
Yeah,
next couple of days,
Cat 5 hurricane, and
which we're all worried about, And I don't think anybody's going to want to go see a football game on Saturday, especially if the hurricane comes through on Thursday.
and they're getting cleaning up damage, storm damage.
Right. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, it's gotten to the point now. I don't even listen to Gus's press conference on Monday.
Yeah,
I'm just not interested in what he has to say because it's the same old. Well, we didn't get it done, didn't rise to the occasion, whatever he's going to say, and it's just getting old.
yeah, and it's why did they not execute? I mean, that's the only thing I really want to know. Why did they not execute? I mean, I can see for myself they weren't executing. I can see that. Why?
Well, I think you would agree. You've got to figure out who your quarterback is, and if it is KJ, but you got to sit there and figure out, and you got to make him more comfortable with who's out there with him. Like I said, he's perfectly fine with Kobe.
Yeah.
He's perfectly fine with Pittman. He's fine with RJ and Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the other two guys are, other than who's the one guy that was in Florida last year.
For
Whittemore.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the third guy is half the time.
Well, I mean, do we even have a third receiver?
Well, somebody's out there lining up, but I don't think he's really,
He has virtually no stats.
and that's
You can't have that.
it'll be interesting to see if Florida really truly does stink and we're just that much worse.
Yeah.
Or if because they actually played pretty well. I got to give them credit. They, it may not have been that hard, but they really played together.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some pretty decent players out there that just aren't getting it done before us. And then, maybe we'll see if they rebound from this or not,
Yeah.
I doubt it. They're going, who they got next?
Who's that?
Florida.
Oh, they go to Tennessee this weekend.
Tennessee lost. I guess
Yeah.
Tennessee doesn't have. They're starting to see that Josh doesn't have an offense.
Yeah, it was interesting because if you noticed, they had a few drives in that Arkansas game when I finally switched over that were like what we used to get out of the Heupel offense that would last like 43 seconds.
Yeah.
Because you had three passes that were three incompletions in a row.
Right. They're on and off the field before you know it, and
Yeah.
then your defense is getting worn out because he has a bit of a defense, but you can't sit there and put a defense out there. They make a stop, and you get out there, you're out there for 43 seconds, and they're back on. You can't do
Yeah.
that, man.
Yeah.
It appears that's what happened with Arkansas this past week.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll do it. And that's what we used to complain about, right?
Yeah. It's nice.
Tennessee's like, oh, you're crazy. Now I'm sure Tennessee's ready to, throw them out too.
I don't think just yet, but they have a couple more ugly losses. No, let's say if they lose the Florida mark, then yeah, they'll be ornery.
And this one's at Tennessee, though, right? This is
Yes,
up
it
in
is.
Knoxville? Okay, well, we'll see how that plays out for
Mm-hmm.
them. Regarding Cincinnati, what are you expecting?
I think we can win a close one.
You think it's going to be a close one? You think we're
Yeah,
going to stop?
I think we'll beat them 20-17.
Didn't Houston beat TCU?
Yeah,
How soundly?
I want to say within a touchdown, 4 to 7 points.
We're not winning.
They led the entire game though.
We're not winning, Matt. We're not beating Cincinnati. First of all, it's going to be a half full stadium. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And then we're going, like I said, we're trending in the wrong direction. Unless you're figuring out something that you can get these guys to be able to, like a bread and butter play of something other than RJ Harvey up the middle.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere. We're not going to do anything.
And really, that's what we got. RJ up the middle. That's about it.
So, well, you're predicting a win. I'm predicting a loss. I'm predicting.
And mind you, if we do lose this one, this might be the last winner I predict all year.
Right. Well, yeah, they're not beating Iowa State at all.
No.
We're not beating BYU,
No.
And
we're gonna get embarrassed by Utah. if we keep in the direction we're going.
Well, I think at that point, when does this team quit on him? A lot of these kids are seniors, so they'll be out of here. But you need to start really figuring out who you got on this roster.
Yeah,
Like Nixon there, that kid's a player. That defensive end, he played a lot against Florida.
yeah.
You know,
Well, I think he wanted to show up because I remember he was committed
Isaiah
to.
Nixon.
Yeah, he was committed to Florida. Left, it came to us.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he's a good player,
Yeah,
and it's one of
but
those.
if you set though, Mark, we don't have a lot of players that Gus has drafted that
Play.
actually are on the field.
No,
He uses a lot of kids who are transfers, and I'm thinking if I'm a recruit, why am I going to go play for you if I'm not going to get on the field?
right. No, I agree. And at this point, I think Gus can develop. I've seen him develop players.
Mm-hmm.
He's choosing not to do so.
Yeah,
He's choosing to just plug something in there and hope it works, and that
yeah,
it doesn't work, and it's not working. You know, and with that, I think Gus is going to have to sit there and figure out: do I want to be a coach here, or do I? I mean, he gets to hang around and just collect at least for another 2-3 years, collect checks. I don't think he'd be here 3 years.
yeah.
But we got him at least another two. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
but I don't know what makes you think anybody who because we've had donors sit there and giving him money to go buy players, and what you're seeing is like, why would you give him any money for that? I
The
wouldn't
last
give him
the
anything.
last 2 weeks he's probably received very little money.
Well, he's already gotten the money that he's gotten these kids, but to me, it's like they're going to hit. The NIL is going to hit these guys up again next year, and it's like I'm not giving you anything for that. I mean,
Yeah.
look what he got last year. Look,
Mm-hmm.
people are earning this money, and I need to see more bang for my buck here.
Yeah.
And I just it'll be interesting. I know the rumors of South Carolina with Mahajer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's ever going to come to anything, or if Mahajer leaves. I think Gus either figures out, he'll probably stay another year at least, but he'll probably try to win.
Yeah.
Because you can't get hired again. I mean, he's in his late 50s at this point, so maybe he doesn't care to get another job after this. But if he does, you can't get fired here.
Yeah.
You know, um, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting to see what comes of this. To me, because I just don't think Gus is getting it done at this point,
Mm-mm.
and I don't think he has any idea how to fix it at this point. I think he literally thought when this season started that he had all questions answered. It's not even questions anymore. It's just like, well, that was just wrong. That was simply
Yeah.
wrong. You know?
All the guys he wanted, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, with Javon Baker, I knew because he was coming back. Remember?
Yeah.
This is at the bowl games, and I will be back. And I remember thinking, great. I'm really relieved that he'd be back, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that guy is a player. And I think he would have done just fine against Hunter, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I do, and then you would have had Kobe had a game again, but it is what it is,
Yeah.
and when he didn't come back, I knew we'd miss him, but it was one of those things to where I knew Whittemore wasn't going to step up, but I got no real idea of who's a receiver on that team otherwise. It's just
Well, you
guys
got
who washed out
that
from everywhere else.
that Javarius Johnson who's come from Auburn. He was in the game the other night, but again, very little stats. He had one.
One
So
catch. How many
yeah,
total yards do we have passing?
we had 121.
So this is high school. This is a
Yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
offense. Period.
Yes. Yes.
And at this point, do you let Gus keep calling plays?
Well, who's going to
If you're
call him?
Mahajer, you go, what?
Who's calling him then?
Um, well, at
Hinshaw?
this point, I don't know, huh?
Hinshaw?
Yeah, Hinshaw or the other coach that's from Miami. But to me, it seems like Gus hires guys because he hires them as It may be a very common practice of you hire a
Yeah.
guy because he can bring certain players into the program, you know, that you're recruiting or looking at,
Hmm.
uh, NIL. But, at this point, Gus, you know, Mahajan needs to have that talk with him again, saying, I know you want to call plays here, but this just ain't working. It's not working at all, you know? So, again, I still got a loss. I think it's going to be, I don't think they score 41 on us, but I bet they get, I'm going to say 31. There'll be a 31-13 or something like that again.
Well, if they beat us like that, the fans are going to be booing.
Oh, probably going to boo anyway, but, I don't know if KJ comes out as lethargic as he has the last 2 weeks,
Hmm.
how do you keep him in there?
Yeah. Do you think we lose our first space game this year?
Oh yeah, I don't think we're winning another game.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think we are. And to me, it's unless we have drastic changes,
Yeah.
that's and I'm not one, like I said, I'm not convinced KJ's not the quarterback. It's just he's not producing. And again, I think Gus knows how to, he knows how to, you know, he knows how to develop guys.
Yeah.
And I guess he figured he didn't have to develop him at all. But KJ needs more development here. Or you need to sit there and start walking through these progressions with him, saying, now, you got to throw the ball now, stuff like
Hmm.
that. Where, like I said, I wasn't at the game, but there were people who were saying that, yeah, there were times where there were guys who were open and he just either A, didn't see him or didn't feel comfortable throwing it to him.
Just flat out missed them, huh?
Yeah, well, missing him as I didn't see the guy wide, like the one Kobe play, they said Kobe's wide open. And he would, and Kobe's kind of looking around like, how did he not see me? And then you've
Yeah.
got other plays where, they said he just wasn't comfortable throwing to either Whittemore or whoever, the guy from
Mhm.
Auburn is. And like I said, if it's coming down to that, then you're gonna have to sit there and figure out, okay, what do we do here?
Yeah.
Do you this week grab one of the other, quarterbacks and sit there and give him a few reps and see what happens? And how does he respond to it? Does he sit there and just close up into a shell, or does he, you know, start fighting for his job a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I,
Again, yeah, I remember at the 18-minute mark, I was saying I don't want to sit there and make this you know, a cry fest over how bad we did the last 2 weeks, but it's just, what are you going to do? What are you going to say other than,
yeah,
we'll see,
it was a bad loss. It really
yeah, we'll
was.
see. And I think, the game will be on TV, and I have a feeling after the hurricane here, you're going to have a half full stadium.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I will admit I'm trying to get rid of my tickets. So,
Yeah.
um, and if I do, I won't go. But if I don't, there's a 50-50 chance I don't go anyway, with this hurricane. That's
Yeah.
how bad it'll be. And, these tickets ain't cheap,
No.
so it's like, we'll see. But, um, it starts to get interesting if you're Mahajer, if say you got a half full stadium against, which is pretty much our rival here.
Oh,
Cincinnati
yeah.
is our
Yeah.
biggest rival.
Since we don't have South Florida anymore, they're a big rival.
Right. South Florida is not really the rival anymore because we don't play them.
Hmm.
No, they're not. I mean, when we start playing them again, fine. And there was somebody who put up a graphic of, they're now predicting us playing South Florida in the Boca Raton Bowl. And I'm like, well, USF might get there, but we're not getting there. We're not
No.
winning. We got to win 6 games to get there. We're not doing that. You know?
Well, I tell you what, if we go, 6-6 and limp into the Boca Raton Bowl and then lose to South Florida, he's really going to have a hot seat.
Well, again, I still think he's here for 2 years. I think it's going to get very hot for him before either like I said, if Mahajer leaves, he probably looks to get out of here as well
Yeah.
and takes a job or just retires because again, I don't think you want to get fired at your last two jobs.
No,
You know, I don't think we are the school that's going to pay somebody to not work.
no.
So he will finish this year. He will probably finish next year. And by God, he may be here 3 years from now, but that will be it. He'll be a lame duck guy, and we may pay him off at because at this point, if it's going to start going as bad as I hope it doesn't, to where
Yeah,
it's going to affect recruiting, it's going to affect people in
everything.
NIL coming here, all that.
Yeah,
Kids are going to leave, and it starts to turn into, well, what are we doing here? And why
yeah.
did we pay this guy for another 4 years last year
Hmm.
when he really didn't earn anything? I think
No,
he's 33 and 22, Matt, total at UCF.
which that's, I
Is
mean,
that a $7 million coach? Yeah, I don't think so. No, and to me, it's like I think Mahajer's kind of, pony show's getting old too. You know, I mean, these guys are just not getting it done.
no. Yeah, it's so really just upsetting right now.
I
I'm not.
couldn't wait for basketball season. I'm looking forward to basketball season starting up, just because it's at least interesting and intriguing to see, how Mikey Williams and some of these other guys who we have on the basketball team. Because I've about given up on football. We lose to
Yeah.
Cincinnati, I probably will. I'll probably just say I'm done.
Hmm.
I was pretty much done after Colorado. I was so pissed when I left. But I think if we take the L to Cincinnati, I'm going to say, give away the tickets for all I care. And yeah, I'm not renewing. You know,
Yeah.
I'm done. But we shall see. All right,
Yeah.
we're 40 minutes into this. You want to talk around the NCAA? I saw that California Miami game.
Miami was down 35-10, came back to win in the last minute, really the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, that Barrios kid is a really good receiver. I mean, obviously, the quarterback for Miami is
Well, he works hard. He's a hardworking kid.
he gets
Runs
open. That's what
yeah,
you love about the kid.
decent route, and he works hard. He goes after the ball. Heck, I'd like to have one of them.
Yeah, UCF don't get those guys anymore.
No.
We get all these guys with all this, all this hoopla on them, and next thing you know, they just either transfer out or go, or turn into nothing. I
Hmm.
can't believe how Johnny stayed here for all 4 years, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was a really good game I saw with Miami and California.
Hmm.
California got way up on them, and then just couldn't hold on to it. And then
Well, California going into the game was 3-1. The only loss they
yeah,
had was FSU,
right.
which people said that they probably should have won that game.
Yeah, I mean, let's swing over to the FSU game. My word, FSU is a rudderless
Yeah.
fire right now.
They found a quarterback though. The kid who came in that night actually threw a couple touchdowns. He's something they can build off. I think that kid they had at the beginning of the season just to let him go.
Uyunga delay or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Florida State's making a bowl this year.
No.
And how do you keep? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Florida State.
Hmm.
You Florida has won how many games? 3 games now.
3-2. Yeah.
We'll see if they make a bowl because they got a really tough schedule. I mean, like the Tennessee's not going to be any easy game for them.
No, they're expected to lose that one, right?
Yeah, I would expect
Then
it.
they got Kentucky. Then after that, they've got a week off, but then they've got Georgia.
Yeah,
Then Texas, number one Texas, mind you,
at Texas too, right?
at Texas.
Yeah, that's going to get ugly.
Then they
There.
come home for LSU
Mm.
and Ole Miss back to back, and then they go to Florida State. So this was really their last tune-up game. Was us. And again, I got
I
to
don't
look.
really see them making a bowl either, man. But with,
No,
with that schedule, no.
yeah, as unimpressive as we were,
Yeah,
they were almost as unimpressive, especially in the second half. They really did nothing.
yeah. I got to admit, I don't see them going anywhere with what I saw, and not taking anything away from the Gators, but yeah, that's not with that schedule. I don't see another win on that schedule.
I don't
Maybe
either.
Florida State, maybe. I guess
Maybe
it could be
Florida
Florida
State.
State, you know. Because I think Florida State, I don't know their schedule either, but I bet they got a few more losses on them. Like I said, I don't see them making a bowl.
Well, Florida State will play Miami. Miami will whip them.
Wax them. Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
wax them good. And then, I mean, I don't really see anybody in the like.
Well, do you think they can beat Duke?
No, Duke's gonna beat them.
Okay, yeah, because Duke's their next one. Then they got Miami and Miami. So they got two road games. And then they host UNC.
That's intriguing.
Yeah, I don't know anything
It's
about
not
North.
very good.
Then of course, then they got to go to Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's gonna beat them.
Yeah, Notre Dame's they're gonna trash them.
Yeah, they're gonna beat them bad. Not
And
that
then
Notre Dame's any good, but
after Notre Dame is Charleston Southern, which
that'll be a win.
that'll be they should win that one. And then the Florida game.
Okay, so out of those 5 games, or well,
You
five of
really-
those games,
Yeah.
I see maybe 2 wins. You know,
Mhm.
I see two, maybe 3 more wins there, and that's
They've
it.
got 6 games left, Mark, and they've got to win 5 to get a bowl.
Hmm.
Remember, they're 1-5 right now.
Okay.
So if they don't get 6 wins or 5 wins out of the 6, they have nothing.
They're not. Yeah, like I said, I see them maybe getting 2 more wins here, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. You know, Now, they may get Florida. They may, Charleston Southern or whoever, and I think North Carolina they could possibly beat. That's 3 more wins. So they're gonna finish 4-7, 4-7, or
4-8.
4-8. Yeah, and ooh, that's gonna be ugly right there because then you got to tear down. I mean, they got a lot of seniors on this team. You know,
Really?
yeah, like the defensive line, offensive line. So you got to replace all that, and how you
Mm-hmm.
going to replace it with money? You know,
Yeah. I
our
don't know.
state's going through a stadium rebuild right now.
Are they?
Yeah. So the thing about it is when you go 4-8, a lot of boosters aren't really looking to give money.
Or
You
no
know?
pun intended, but a lot of people get alligator arms.
Yeah. Yeah. To where I don't see Florida State really able to get better quickly,
No.
like you do nowadays. But you want to talk about the Vanderbilt Alabama game here real quick?
Yeah. Well, didn't Vanderbilt got like 2 touchdowns within the first 2-3 minutes?
Okay.
Got
Yeah,
a
I didn't
14-0.
see it.
But I mean, I watched that game, and I'll tell you, Vanderbilt moved the ball.
Right.
They ran the ball with conviction. They beat Alabama.
Well, all the pundits were, oh, I knew Bama was a fraud. They're like, no,
Yeah.
you didn't. You guys
None
were
of
all sitting
you did.
there
Yeah.
talking, just how great Alabama was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Alabama's technically a bad team, but you and I have been saying, prior to any of these podcasts, that I don't think Bama fans realize that it's over. When
Mm-hmm.
Saban quit, it's over. You guys will have a chance here and there to win but your dominance is over. And yeah, you
Yeah.
can beat Georgia. For some reason, that coach at Georgia can beat everybody but you.
Yeah.
But he can,
Which is peculiar. That's a strange.
but everybody else is not afraid of you guys anymore. And especially those teams that have as much talent as you do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, which is Georgia. They've got as much talent.
Yeah, and I think Georgia will,
You remember though, Georgia got down heavy in the first half, came roaring back. I think they took the lead with 30 to 40, 34 to 30.
okay. And
And then Alabama scored.
Alabama scored there late in the game there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, again, I don't think Auburn is really going to give them much of a fight, and I'm just trying to think like maybe the SIP will, Mississippi,
Yeah.
or I know Mississippi State is awful.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing there.
Yeah, with that coach there, I don't know how long he's going to last. They can't even throw the ball, and that's what they hired him for.
Yeah.
And so I could see the SIP possibly beating Alabama. I'm not sure
Yeah,
where it's at, but I'm not sure. Does LSU play Alabama?
they play them every year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because they're LSU in the West or in the East.
Well, I don't think there's an East or West anymore. I think it's all just one big pool.
Right, you're right. Okay, yeah, I forgot. It's just a bunch of pods almost is what's going to happen.
Just yeah, it's weird.
So yeah, but LSU, I can see LSU beating them,
Yeah.
and then 2-3 losses, a big difference than those people at Bama are not going to be able to handle that.
Hmm.
You know? They're gonna lose their shirt on that one. But we'll see. But yeah, I think that the Bama dominance is over. Uh,
Yeah.
Sooner or later, Bama's going to
There's
start
not
realizing
contenders.
this. What's that?
They're pretenders, not contenders.
Well, I think this coach is a decent coach, but he wasn't going to be able to just walk in there and take Saban's guys and start winning. It just
Hmm.
wasn't going to happen, And I don't think he realizes just how uber competitive the SEC is.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. You know,
Yep.
Anybody in the Big Ten that looked interesting at all this past weekend. I was
Uh,
up in the Northeast.
Michigan got beat by, it was last year's national championship rematch. Washington beat them pretty handily.
Okay.
It was close in the score, but Washington was pretty dominant.
And I think I heard that Michigan is still ranked after getting beat by Washington this weekend. It's
Yeah.
like, no, they're not any good. They don't have a quarterback, first of all.
Mm-mm.
Eh, Their defense is okay. It's decent, but other than that, no.
Yeah.
Michigan has no business being ranked.
Mm-mm. But I think Ohio State is probably the class of that conference
Oh,
right
I
now.
think so. Yeah, I think Ohio State's gonna,
And they're going to murder Michigan
I
this
think
year.
who is it Ohio State, Oregon this weekend?
Yes.
I think Ohio State's going to crush Oregon.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to crush them.
Well, Dylan will have the his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I think Dylan has never won anything.
Hmm.
He's only really performed in one big game, and that was the Texas game last year.
Hmm.
Other than that, he always folds. And I have a feeling against Ohio State this weekend, he will fold.
Yeah.
You know, not a gambler, but if I were, I'd take
With
take
I take that bet.
Ohio State and lay the points
Hmm.
because I'm sure Ohio State is probably giving up some points, and I got a feeling Ohio State's gonna probably win by 2-3 touchdowns.
You'd have a winner. Yeah. If you bet on that one.
Yes. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
That's it for me. Just I'm tired of getting beat up.
You're right. Hurricane, you all prepped? Ready?
As I hope it, if I don't cut away a lot of trees, so
Okay.
hopefully we keep power and get through this. It's a big storm right now, which is still kind of worrisome.
Yeah,
So
I got the gas for the generator. I got the panels up.
mhm.
We'll see what happens. So you know, I had someone call me yesterday and go, "Hey, where'd you get your panels from?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" He goes, she's like, where'd you get your panels?" I'm like, "Well, I got them 19 years ago, and it's like all Brevard something, but
Mhm.
I was like, I think it's a little late at this point.
Yeah,
They're not coming out tomorrow to install panels on your house.
yeah,
Probably wouldn't show up now until January. Anyway,
yeah.
that's when you got to do this. But
Hmm.
hopefully the roof stays on the house. Because it's Cat 5 now. I guess it's supposed to
Yeah,
lead to a 3 by the time it hits Tampa. But we are right in the path.
yeah,
Orlando is. So hopefully everybody's able to stay safe and you know
yeah. Get through
nobody
this.
gets hurt. Yeah, because we've had a lot of misery with the last one.
Hmm. Let's hope we don't get the same things happen to the good people in North Carolina.
Right. North Carolina, Tennessee,
Yeah.
Georgia, Florida, up in there in the panhandle.
Hmm.
So where we've got a few friends of ours that weren't able to go to the Colorado game because they sustained damage up in the panhandle there.
Yeah.
One of the some guy had a rental, the other guy, had a little weekend home that he went to, and
Mm,
it got completely destroyed.
yeah.
Just too
That's
bad.
that's rough.
So hopefully nobody gets that this weekend, or I guess it's coming through Wednesday night, Thursday morning,
Yeah.
and schools here in Osceola are I think done for the week.
Okay, we're closed down on Wednesday.
So you close Wednesday, here in
Wednesday.
Orange County.
I don't know how many people we're going to have in school tomorrow, but we're open tomorrow as of now.
Okay.
And Friday is pending.
All right. Well, if that's all, let's go ahead and wrap this.
That's all, yeah. So
Okay.
for Knightspeed, I'm Matt Johnson.
This is Mark Johnson. This is what, episode 8, season 3. Um, are we gonna say the Gainesville horror show, or what do we call this?
Yeah, the Gainesville Disappointer.
It was just that kind of night, I guess.
We had a chance to beat really a down Florida team in Gainesville at night.
And yeah, and that's the thing that we play them again there before they come to us, or do they come to us
Mhm.
next? And
In
this is like
30 in
5, 6 years from now,
2030, yeah.
to where they may not be like that 5, 6 years from now. And at this point, I think you've got a lot of people around the Big 12 of what I've been seeing of going, are you guys giving up on, you know, are you down? Are you down on it? And I'm like, I think everybody here is pretty much giving up on Gus pretty quick. And it's just because it's the same old story every year.
Yeah.
3, 4 losses, and you know, we did
No, no imagination. Losing games, really, he could win if he were a good coach.
right with a high school offense,
Yeah.
and
Stubborn offense,
right.
stubborn coach.
But we'll see
And
what happens. See if he keeps calling. I don't see him getting rid of calling, play calling, because I think it might be interesting to see if he did have Darren Hinshaw. And I don't know if Darren Hinshaw would keep KJ Jefferson in there if he was
mm,
on offense. But then again, like I know Hinshaw did recruit Trujillo, right?
yeah,
I don't think Trujillo's ready to play at
no,
all. Risk to me, I'm not sure if Risk is even ready to play yet either. You know.
risk is a risk. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. EJ Colson is interesting. I think what I would like to see EJ Colson maybe get a shot, to see if he could, but you'd have to give him some reps. I'm not sure if they're just redshirting him this year, but you still get 4 games, don't you?
Yeah.
In a red shirt and I guess the interesting thing about that is like I'm not sure. I think they're getting ready to change that rule. Did you hear about that to where instead of red shirts, you just get 5 years and you can play all 5 years?
Oh, that's interesting too.
Yeah, there's no
No
more
risk here.
no more red shirt year, no more medical red shirt year, anything. It's like you get 5 years to play. You're
After 5 years, you're
you're gone in 5 years. You can leave earlier, obviously, but
yeah.
do
five
not
years as
sit
long
there
as you can.
and yeah, do not sit there and
I
try
like
to
that.
do. I'm sorry.
I like that.
Yeah, but don't try to get a medical red shirt or any other kind of red shirt. It's just you're here for 5 years. You play, you play. If you don't, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how it goes. Saturday, 3:30,
3:30. Yeah.
UCF versus Cincinnati.
Go Knights.
Charge on.